What do popular movies having to do with the multiverse have to do with politics today? Not something we all thought we would be talking about today. Rather, we weren't going to be talking about anything. I'm going to be talking about it. Hi, I'm Nick. Welcome back to 10 Minutes with Nick. And today we are going to discuss the concept of intersectionality. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, I will tell you why I do not like the concept, what the concept means in a nutshell, and just generally speaking, why it's weird. First, what is intersectionality? Well, have you heard of the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once? If you haven't, all you need to know is the title. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Intersectionality is the concept that when you are trying to make a holistic solution to a problem, you have to approach every single aspect of that problem. An example of this is intersectionality, or rather intersectional feminism. Intersectional feminism takes the idea that feminism cannot be separated from trans issues, race issues, or any other issues. It has to be considered as at the same time as one issue. Feminism is sort of encompasses all those ideas at the same time because it is inextricably tied up with them. Intersectionality is the idea of considering everything everywhere all at once. Okay, so that's what it is in a nutshell. It is the concept that you must consider all of the intersecting problems that overlay the issue that you are dealing with at that moment. Now, it is a slightly... It makes issues big. Makes issues very big. I don't know whether it's a positive or a negative. Not necessarily. I don't. I do know that multiverse movies, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, run the risk of becoming too big and too unwieldy to handle. For example, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, is an example of a multiverse movie that fell prey to the weight of what it was trying to do. It had a lot of great jokes, it had a lot of great moments and beats within it. The problem is, it's a lot to try and handle the multiverse as sort of at sort of one go, because the multiverse is multiple parallel universes running all together at the same time, and different things are happening at different moments. And that's sort of why it's a cool concept to think of, because I'm sitting here doing something right now, and in a parallel universe, a different me is sitting here doing something different or doing the same thing. The multiverse encompasses every possibility. Intersectionality is like that. You consider everything happening in intersecting parallel ideas, right? So, when we say feminism or intersectional feminism includes race issues, because feminism is primarily based on the idea of fighting for gender equality between the sexes. We're not... it's feminism, okay? It was founded on the idea of female equality with men. Now, it was founded on that idea. Obviously, the idea has evolved and encompassed other things that have crisscrossed into it. That's the idea of intersectional feminism. But what I mean is, just generally speaking, it makes the ideas bigger, potentially much more helpful, but also potentially too unwieldy to handle. Now, to the credit of intersectional theory and multiverse theory, Everything Everywhere All at Once was a great, phenomenal, award-winning movie. It put A24, the studio that made the film, on the map in a way that it wasn't on the map before, and A24 actually had a pretty good reputation in the filmmaking community already. They got the reputation for Everything Everywhere All at Once because it handled a very large, unwieldy concept very deftly and made it into quite a nice, tidy little story. Okay, so that's what I worry about and don't like about intersectionalism. Let's take a different issue. Let's move off the feminism issue. Let's look at, say, violence in inner cities. Now, we all understand on some level that there are multiple crisscrossing issues that overlay the simple idea of violence in inner cities. Everybody understands the concept that it's not as simple as, Frank and Joe are just bad people and they happen to have weapons and they're gonna be bad people no matter what you do. Frank and Joe are just bad people, and whether they were rich or poor, they were always gonna be bad people. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. People aren't just bad people. We don't have a predisposition to violence based on who we are inherently. All violence is learned. It's a learned trait. Some people might argue this with me. I'm not here for it. No. Sure, we might take the position that people are born bad or born whatever, but we're all born the same. We're all born the same levels of bad or good. Most things are learned behaviors. And yes, we are learned. If we're going to say the word learned, we're going to use the fancy pronunciation because that is just going to make me happy. Much like saying everything, everywhere, all at once, multiple times in one conversation. We're going to continue down that road. But anyways. So the idea that we have to approach violence in inner cities from a couple different angles is not something that is necessarily as unwieldy as one might think. However, if we were to say we need to approach this under a theory of intersectionality, we could not move forward with the problem until we had considered deeply every angle that might possibly affect it. And if we find a new angle that is affecting it, we must go back and consider how that new angle is going to affect every single other angle. Do you see the problem here? If you don't, it's because I only have 10 minutes and I'm sort of glossing over issues. But the thing is, you cannot move forward on a problem if you are constantly moving backwards, because you have to make sure that there are no cascading effects. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to do something. You can't watch someone die and then say, well, we have to consider a number of options before we move forward with something. No, you have to try something. You have to try something. And it's not a bad, and you're gonna get it wrong, right? Like, you're gonna get it. You're never gonna have the perfect answer. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. The perfect answer would encompass every single issue. Again, the everything, everywhere, all at once answer would encompass all issues and would perfectly settle over top of a problem and fix the issue. That is what it would do. It would fix the problem. It would be genius. And we would be the A24s of solving social issues. But it's not a thing. Because there's constantly going to be a new issue that intersects the problem that you are trying to deal with. For example, even just equality between genders, okay? Right? Like, yes, we can accept that there are intersectional issues at play here. But if we don't do something, we can stare at it and debate it endlessly. We'll make ourselves feel good because, yes, we're considering everything, everywhere, all at once. But unless we're the A24 of solving social issues, nothing's going to get done. And nothing is infinitely worse than something. Some improvement is better than no improvement, and just because you've done some improvement doesn't mean you have to stop. You can do more improvement later. You don't build houses all at once. You build them step by step. Now, of course, the pro-intersectionalist would say, yes, but if the foundation's no good, you can't move forward with the house. That's true. But if you're building the foundation and you keep stopping building the foundation to worry about the roof that's not built, that you don't have walls to support yet, you're never going to get a foundation. You're never going to get there. And that's my allotted time. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you are the A24 Studios and you're going to make the perfect everything everywhere all at once solution, be cautious about how you act on intersectionality outside of an academic circle. Do not use intersectionalism as a way to slow progress. Once you've taken one step forward, more steps can follow. But you have to take a step. You cannot consider all the different ways that step will have cascading effects, because it will have cascading effects, and you will have to deal with those. But any choice you make will have cascading effects. It is a lie that you can make a choice that will have no cascading effects. You're just going to have to deal with them. Vote for people who will deal with them. And I'm over my time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nick. This was 10 Minutes with Nick. I've gone for 11 and a half minutes. Thank you. Have a great night.